A very good afternoon to all of you. I am Anand, welcoming you all on behalf of Solar Quarter and First View Group to the second day of Africa Rooftop Solar Congress. Hope you had a good time networking with your peers today. We'll have those networking sessions again at the end of the sessions. Now, we'll be playing the sponsor video of our platinum partner, Jinko Solar, followed by the video of our gold partner, JA Solar.
Where energy systems around the world are undergoing fundamental changes. The balance between fossil fuel and renewable energy sources is shifting. Yet 850 million people are still living without access to electricity. In this changing world, society and business share one crucial challenge. How can we meet the rising demand for energy and at the same time protect the climate? Ensuring access to clean and sustainable energy for all in an economically sensible way. To address the challenge, innovation and technological development play a fundamental role in building an effective solution, and Jinko Solar is one of the solution providers. Jinko Solar is one of the world's leading companies in the clean energy sector, pioneering the vertical integration business model along the entire value chain from the wafer, cell to solar module. With its 12 factories, 25,000 employees in more than 35 countries, Jinko Solar is well positioned to serve the requirements of a heterogeneous customer base. Jinko Solar is the first solar company to deliver more than 70 gigawatt panels to over 3,000 customers in 160 countries, accounting for 1/10 of solar electricity generated worldwide, making the company hugely relevant for assuring future sustainable energy supplies. Unmatched large and diverse global customer base helps to smooth fluctuations in demand, which in turn helps the company maintain a high level of capacity utilization and profitability. With a highly competent and dedicated R&D team, Jinko Solar has broken 15 world records in cell and module efficiency, deployed 2,387 technology patents home and abroad. For advanced cell technology, the company's 24.9% efficiency N-type cell continues to progress in the pipeline. Jinko Solar is the capacity leader with 33 gigawatt wafers, 27 gigawatt cells, and 37 gigawatt modules by end of 2021. Moreover, globally distributed capacity is the foundation for Jinko Solar's manufacturing excellence. Flexibility to meet the needs of diverse customers, accurate delivery, unmatched customer service, ability to quickly ramp up and maintain high yield make manufacturing excellence one of the core strengths for Jinko Solar. Jinko Solar is leading the world towards clean energy transition and driving continuous innovations in PV technology to keep building your trust in solar.
From the native land of China to all corners of the world. From the seaside to the mountain tops. From the peaceful countryside to the bustling city. JA Solar is dedicated to the great cause of energy transition and innovation, a great journey that never stops. Driven by the concept of customer first and mutual value. JA Solar continues forging ahead. Dreams give us the power to imagine. Reality keeps us grounded, anchored in the present era and focusing on high-quality green development. JA Solar aims to unbundle the majesty of sunlight emanating in the universe and shapes this infinite energy into a road of new greatness by repurposing it for a higher calling. Beginning in 2005 when it was established, accelerating in 2007 when it was listed on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange in the US, and maturing in 2019 when it successfully relisted on the Shenzhen A-Shares Exchange. JA Solar has written a magnificent history through the powerful currents of those times. Throughout this journey, JA Solar has remained true to its sacred mission: develop solar power to benefit the entire human race, standing bravely on the tide and pressing ahead on firm footing. After steadily developing and improving over more than a decade, JA Solar has continued to build and perfect an integrated manufacturing chain covering silicon wafers, cells, modules, and power plants, all in an effort to achieve a vertical integration of manufacturing and marketing service systems, from the front-end products to the back-end power generation solutions. Innovation promotes advancement. Excellence produces miracles. With insight sharpened by the rapid fluctuations in the global PV market and adaptability forged by the ever-changing customer demand, JA Solar consistently gets its teams that are never satisfied to pull together and realize a road to stardom in the PV industry. Consistent quality upgrades, interminable cost reduction efforts, and effective process improvements have been the core of our efforts. JA Solar plays an active role in the digital and intellectualized transformation and upgrading, and strives to build a dual mode of intelligent manufacturing and intelligent operation by adopting such advanced technologies as big data, cloud computing, and artificial intelligence, which help to realize intelligent operation and maintenance management and quality control in the production stage, and therefore greatly enhances the security, smartness, reliability, and cost-effectiveness of the operation and maintenance of the solar power station during application stage. On this great journey of bringing grid parity across the PV industry, JA Solar produces premium cells, premium modules, and has developed an independent innovation mechanism by making continuous investment in R&D. By the end of 2019, JA Solar had been issued more than 779 patents based on its leading-edge R&D, maintaining a leading role in driving tremendous development in solar PV technology. On the foundation of leading park cell technology, JA Solar continuously optimizes module types and their component materials in order to keep improving product performance and bring down the overall LCOE for the entire value chain. The next generation of products coming out of R&D are exciting and will further contribute to the industry development. JA Solar's technology roadmap has attached great importance to perfecting the N-type solar cell, whose average conversion efficiency in mass production is estimated to exceed 25% by the end of 2019 fiscal year. JA Solar's cumulative solar module shipments exceeded 45 gigawatts, of which high-efficiency park product has totaled 13 gigawatts, guaranteeing highly reliable components in power plants with different applications, therefore achieving enhanced financial returns for the power station owners. From China to the world, JA Solar is focused on bringing more light and hope to the entire human race, anchored in its foundation to build a road to prosperity within and beyond the borders. For more than 10 years, JA Solar has explored and succeeded to expand the overseas market, establish a global network of support, distribution, and world-class technical service. Presently, JA Solar manages 12 manufacturing sites and over 30 subsidiaries across the globe. Our high-quality products have been sold to more than 120 countries and regions, with overseas shipments accounting for nearly 75% of our overall sales. JA Solar's module shipments rank first class perennially all over the world. JA Solar maintains steady and responsible growth in its global market share. As a reward for its many years of hard work, JA Solar has been on the list of Fortune China 500 and Global Top 500 New Energy Enterprises for many consecutive years. JA Solar has won many awards from respectable international authorities, such as International Leading Brand PV Module Bankability, Global Tier 1 PV Module Supplier, Europe Top Brand PV Modules. These validate JA Solar as the world's leader in the core technology and quality of PV products. We toil and sweat, we smile and persevere. We remain true to our original aspiration and keep our mission firmly in mind. We lay a road of sincerity that goes deep into our customer's heart. JA Solar, core value of putting customers first and continuously improving its service, tirelessly enhancing its quality, and seeking more sustainable production. Every technical process, every finished product, and lot that ships out all bring out the best. JA Solar and its goal of pursuing ingenuity, modesty, and excellence. Driven by a professional attitude of zero tolerance to quality defects, JA Solar carries out real-time and full process inspection on module production, and naturally its module products are accredited by the global certification and accreditation authorities to guarantee zero defects and long-run reliability. JA Solar is focused not only on the successful project-by-project supply, but also on the total life cycle of product, which is supported by its professional capability matrix. Today, in order to grasp the opportunities of the new PV era, JA Solar keeps an open mind and maintains a resolutely international outlook, constantly improving the sales and service network for the global market. JA Solar has played a large part in such monumental large-scale ground-mounted solar power projects as China Datong Photovoltaic Top Runner Power Demonstration Project, China Qinghai UHV Yellow River Hydropower Project, Dubai Electricity and Water Authority, US Utah, Pakistan Punjab, etc. And also played a big role in the world-famous landmarks such as China Beijing's Daxing International Airport, Marina Bay Sands Singapore, the Swedish Royal Palace, Audi Hungary factory, and many others. JA Solar has established strategic partnerships with many top enterprises in the world, while its number of customers across the globe has been over 33,000. JA Solar is fully aware that a company mission is not only to strive to pursue its economic growth, but also tirelessly try its best to meet its social responsibility obligations as well. Ever since its foundation, JA Solar, filled with gratitude, has been playing an active role in social and public welfare causes, endeavoring to provide green impetus for the happiness of more people. Time does not stand still and is the only non-renewable resource. Standing at the starting point of a new era, JA Solar will undertake 5 development strategies: market globalization, product value realization, capital securitization, management digitalization, enterprise platformatization, and work with business partners to build an ecosystem of intergrowth, regeneration, and symbiosis. JA Solar is committed to the cause of benefiting the whole world with this green energy source. What will the future hold? Standing firmly on the tide of energy revolution, JA Solar will adhere to the course of put customers first, respect shareholders' interests, let our employees grow, have keen insight into the ever-changing world situation, and keep pace with time along the grand journey of globalization. Pull together and strive forward dreams and the great vision. Being a great enterprise, the green mission, develop solar power to benefit the entire human race. Harvest the sunshine. JA Solar.
Now, it's time to start with the second day of our conference. But before that, I take the pleasure to thank our partners for extending their immense support to organize this event. So, starting with our platinum partner, Jinko Solar, gold partner, JA Solar, supporting partners, Kenya Renewable Energy Association, Uganda National Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency Alliance, and Uganda Solar Energy Association. Now, let me quickly take you through the agenda for today. We will have a session on rooftop solar OAM and asset management, and then we will have our prestigious award ceremony. And now, without any further delay, let's begin our third session. And this session will be starting with a presentation by Mr. Anirudh Agarwal, Senior Account Executive, The Solar Labs. Over to you, sir.
Hi, thank you so much, Anand. Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Anirudh Agarwal, and I'll be just taking few seconds to share my screen. Just Anand, let me know if you're able to see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Great. So, good afternoon, everyone. Hope you are all are good. I'll be taking just 5 minutes to show like how some EPC companies have been using the technology to digitally transform their business. And basically, the Solar Labs is an SaaS platform, the software as a service platform, where we use it is powered by AI, artificial intelligence, and we have seen that thing in the recent times. We have seen that there has been incredible increase in some soft costs, specifically in the solar industry while you are using some softwares, or we have seen that there's a synchronizing gap between using different softwares or moving from a sales team to the design team, eventually leading to increase of the time duration to create those projects. And eventually you also see that there has been some low conversion rates while you are designing those softwares. So this is where we have seen that solar soft cost has been an incredible cost, which has been leading to these increased costs. So specifically in the residential market, we have seen that there has been the 2 rupee watt pick is a difference that is costing in that residential market. While if you consider the commercial part, it turns out to be around 0.5%. So this has led to a digital integrated platform, which is the key for not only lowering your cost, but also improving the profitability of a company. And this is where the Solar Labs comes into the picture, in where not only you can do the design and engineering, but you can also do some site surveys, you can do the permitting, you can manage your leads, you can even provide instant proposals and ROI systems to your customers right at a single platform using a superior design tool. Basically, our platform is based upon two use cases, which the one being the pre-sales, where you can share the remote analysis, provide sales quotations, provide a 3D view of how your plant would look like, share financial analysis, and even change different kind of designs for your customers. Eventually, even in the second use case, when you have completed your transactions, you need some detailed analysis of the same. So you can do accurate 3D modeling, you can do system layout planning, you can do auto shade analysis, even energy simulation, and also exports different kind of CAD permits from the same software, eventually saving a lot of time and cost, and not only helping you do the same, but eventually helping you to convert more clients and sell bigger systems. As we were discussing on different tools, so in the pre-sales part, you can gather information, you can show a 3D analysis to your clients, you can do financial analysis, share customer proposals. Even in the detailed modeling, you can do precise shading analysis, share energy simulations with your customer, provide custom module layout, and in SLD electrical part, you can even do manual stringing as well. So all these things with the sharing of customer proposals, export shading reports, you can do all these things in a single platform, helping you to save a lot of time and increasing the convertibility. As I was discussing about some of the major EPC companies who have digitally transformed their business, the one being Amplus Solar, where earlier they were taking around 3 to 4 hours to just complete a single project, and then even taking a day to share the proposal with the customers, eventually leading to reduced timelines and a very large sales cycle. So with the Solar Labs, we were able to bring that timeline to less than 30 minutes, and they were able to share all these customers with the reports and everything, and eventually the conversion rate improved, and they were able to reduce the sales cycle. Similarly, the Greenland Solar, with the presentations and the reports that we were able to submit with how the plant will look like in 3D, what are the financial analysis, how much is their ROI, and what the plant will produce and save along the years. This enabled them to convince the customers, build that brand loyalty, and eventually helping them to convert more clients and increase their profitability. So not only these major companies such as Tata Power, Adani Solar, Unirac, Sterling and Wilson, and Thermex Limited, they have already been onboarded with us. And over the years, we have able to install more than 30 plus gigawatt of solar installations. We have seen a 30% increase in the lead conversions of our customers. We have more than 1000 plus clients across the globe with an accuracy of 99.99%. So let me just quickly take you through our software, where I'll show you how our software works. So this is our studio page, where you can see on the left hand side there will all the tools, and we'll design quickly this RCC roof. So we'll just snap it around the building and it automatically detects at 90 degrees. And you can see like we are just building around the same system. We are building these mumties around, and we are easily just, we can do all the property changes, whatever the height is, whatever their changes are, we can just quickly snip it around. And as we are seeing, we are just building some kind of obstructions on the top so that we can place our modules on the top. And for module placement, we have two options, which artificial intelligence through fill face, we can directly fill the panels. We can change the properties of the panel as well, in which place we want to do, how we want to do. We can change the orientation to landscape or portrait. 2x2 tables we can place as per our requirement. So this is how we can paste on the RCC. Similarly, on the tin shed, we can similarly snap it around 90 degrees. And wherever we want to place the panels, we can easily just build that software and place it around. And we can change the model properties, the height, the tilt angle, the azimuth of the same. So as in here, we are placing that. And further on, we want to place some kind of different obstructions also on the tension. Some there are skylights, some there are fans on the top. So we'll place that as well. We can easily place. So we'll just mark that around this software, and we'll just take it through this. We can change that same angles. We can change the tilt degrees. We will just keep it to as similar as possible to that tin shed that we have created. And then we have different tools, which is we refer to as copy paste tools, wherein we can just copy paste and place n number of times the same module. So example, you can see it over here. Like we're using the copy paste tool, we can use the repeat tool over here, which will eventually place n number of cells. So we can see here, like we have 8 to 7 kind of skylights. So we just copy pasted it. We use the repeat tool and place the similar skylights on the top. Similarly, over here as well, we will place that water, like you can see there are fans on the top as well. So we can place that also, and we can just copy paste it, and we can place it around the same on the top. We can use the repeat tool and place it together all together. So this is how we can place and create an easy layout of the same. And also model placement, as we discussed in the rooftop, in the RCC roof. Similarly, we can place these panels as well. So this is one place of using the single tin shed. Also, you can use the mirror tools to easily copy paste and place it around that thing. So you don't need to create it again and again and seeing how it is being made. So you can just copy paste it and place it all together. So also in 3D, while you're designing, you can check how your systems are looking, how if there is any changes that you need to make, you can make it. So side by side, as you're designing, you can check in 3D as well. Also, you have a pool of a number of inverters and panels on that, where you can choose among which panels or inverter you want to use. You will see in brief and the summary pipes sideways as well, like how much inverter and how much capacity that you are seeing. So you can see it on the right hand side. There's a summary page that is coming on, where you can check all your details. You can save your project. You can always check the sun simulation throughout the year at any point of time. What is the sun simulation that you are seeing? We have different tools to check the heat map as well, to check the solar excess tool as well, where you can check in the solar excess what is the per panel production that you're able to get. You can easily delete all those panels in a single stance which are in shadow like this, using the optimization tool in the solar excess. And this will eventually help you to create an optimized solution which is very much efficient and effective in the real market time as well. So let me quickly take you to the report as well, which you can download. I have downloaded this is for you. So this is the report. You can see it in the report as well. This is on the front page. There will be a snapshot and a 3D link in which the customers can also see how their plant is looking like. Then there will be a about us page about your company, which is a customizable page in which it will be mentioned about your introduction about the company. Your company, it's a customized page. Then there is system metrics page in which there's all the information about the PR, the production is mentioned. Then there is an estimated saving page as well, in which you can tell the customers how much savings they will be able to get in the next 25 years with the proposal that you are offering. So there will be cost that will also be mentioned in dollars or in INR, in any currency that you want to keep. You can keep that as well. There will be internal rate of return in which the customers get to know what return they're getting from that. So apart from this, there is a components page as well, in which you can mention what components that you have used. You can change that, you can add those things. There are micro inverters as well, which you can add to this as well. So this is one. The next, you can show them monthly production as well in this. What are the monthly production that you are able to get? Along with this monthly savings as well, what savings you'll be able to get from that particular plant, that also you can show with a monthly table of the PRs of in from January till December, and as well as the annual PR as well. This also you can show. There is a field segment page in which you can show them what is the portrait and the tilt degrees that you are keeping in. Along with this, there's a shadow analysis report as well, which tells us the shadow reports from June 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can change these timings as well. Along with this, there's a December to December 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. report as well. And there's a conclusion on the bottom end where you can show that what is the shadow free timeline. So you can see 99.68% is the timeline throughout the year, which is shadow free. Along with this, the heat map and the solar assessment, as we checked in the studio page, is also available with them, where you can tell them what is the solar excess that you are getting from the plant and what is the heat map based on which we have placed those panels. Losses based upon what we have considered the production, that is also available. You can change these losses as well in the default profiles based on how you want to accumulate that as well. Plus, there is a very interesting page which shows you the opportunity cost of going with solar and not going with solar. So you can see over in this page, this is the opportunity cost. In the blue, it is like bill that you are getting without solar, and in the white is the bill which you are getting with solar. So we can easily see in the very first year that they were able to, the bill was around 50 lakhs, and the with installation of solar, the bill reduced to around 12 lakhs. So they were able to save around 38 lakhs in a particular year by installing solar. So this page acts as an ROI page as well as a very good pitch that you can convince customer that this is the opportunity cost, that 38 lakhs that you will be able to save during this particular time. So all the environment friendly people or the government side, you can show these reports as well to your customers, in which you can see what is the carbon offset, the equivalent number of trees that you will be able to install, and the coal avoided. And the last page again will be a customized page, thank you page based upon your company and logo. Just last one that I also wanted to show you was the 3D link that you can show to your customers. So this is the 3D view of the project that you can show to your customers. You can just copy this link. They can access this on their phone as well and on the laptop. Just you don't need any software to use it. Just that link. You can copy paste it and you can share it with the customers. So all these things are available at a single platform, and you can always share it with your customers along with this. So signing off for today. Any questions, you can just message me in the top and we'll be happy to serve. Thank you so much. Anand, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for this insightful presentation. Now, moving forward with our exciting panel discussion on the topic rooftop solar OEM and asset management. And to share their insights on the topic, we have in the panel Mr. Brayson Hillary, Sales Manager, East Africa, JA Solar, Mr. Sami Borothi, Business Development Manager, Sub-Saharan Africa, Jinko Solar, Mr. Kolavole, Country Manager, Vesta Solar, Mr. Gareth, CEO, Engineering Group, Sustainable Power Solutions. The session will be led by Mr. Andrew Amadi, CEO, Kenya Renewable Energy Association. Now, I welcome all the panelists on the screen and handing it over to Andrew, sir.
Uh, Thank you very much, Anand, and a very good evening from the heart of Kenya in Baringo County. As Anand said, my name is Andrew Amadi, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Kenya Renewable Energy Association, who are proud to be a supporting partner for this series on the discussion of rooftop solar. I think the topic today is a very important one because this helps to educate not just the developers, but also consumers around the issues, the real issues of operations and maintenance costs and asset management of rooftop solar. So to get us started, um, let us start by looking from a developer's perspective. What are the key challenges that you face in operations and maintenance of solar rooftop portfolio? And maybe we can get started by Brayson. Brayson, please give us your views. Thank you. Over to you, Brayson.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Andrew, and I really appreciate. Yeah, I'm a person, Hillary. I'm a sales manager in East Africa, based in Arusha, Tanzania. Yes, my views as follows. As you know that solar operations and the maintenance, uh, this is a labor-intensive kind of the industry. So in an area where we experience a labor-intensive, which means there is a high operation cost. So the challenge here is high operation costs, which affect the developers. So let me highlight where these huge operation costs coming from. This operation cost coming from the security. Let me start with the security. Most of the developers, they forgot this angle. They forgot the maintenance side. So the security is a crucial thing during planning uh, uh, solar PV plantations. So most of these solar PV plantations, they are located in remoteness areas. So and we did not invest a lot in this angle, especially as you can see nowadays. Some of the investors, they actually using the conventional style of the security, which is not recommended. So we need to have advanced securities uh, so that we can avoid the thief of these plantations. Another one is it's quite challenging also, the issue of cleaning, especially the solar PV cleaning. This is a crucial. So it's quite challenging so far, especially in area where there is experiencing a lot of drought, or the desert area, whereby there is a lot of dust. So it is a challenging for an investors to invest on the so-called aerobic robot kind of a solution. So it is quite challenging for them, because it's very costful enough for them to invest a robot cleaning, which is a technology which for me, actually, I saw one company, but I never experienced some of other companies are doing this kind of a technology in the market. And another challenge, it's manpower, labor to maintain the labor, training the local technicians. It's quite complicated, and it's very expensive, and it's needed time. But some of the developers, they outsource the manpower from outside, which also is relating to high cost, because it means once you empower people to enter the country, it means you will be subjected with a working permit and a lot of cost. So lastly, another challenge, it is vegetation removals in these PV sites. Actually, it's quite challenging also. So it needs also kind of investment. So that is my views.
Yeah, thank you very much, Brayson. I think you bring up some good points around one of the issues that even we, as the Kenya Renewable Energy Association, have recognized, that the disciplines that are required to be able to successfully implement and manage energy goes beyond the technical, and it also speaks to the design of the project. Sometimes you have a case, particularly where there's a donor involved, and the scope of the project is just up to the installation, but you do not consider the maintenance. I think the government of Kenya had a solar program whereby the system's failure rate was so high that I think it was over 30% of the systems were not working within 2 years or so. But I think maybe get a different perspective from Garth. Garth, what do you think about this? What are the challenges, in addition to what um, Brayson has mentioned? What other challenges would you face, particularly if you're looking at it from Southern Africa, where I think you have much bigger systems and probably a different kettle of fish?
Thank you very much, Mr. Amadi. And I very much agree with both what you've said as what Bryson has said. Now, there are quite a few issues, which we face across the industry as a whole. It's not necessarily an African problem. It's a international problem in general. At SBS, we're both an investor and developer of solar PV and battery assets across Africa at this point. We've got systems throughout East Africa and Southern Africa, and steadily expanding. And our experience with that is it's really the whole life cycle of the development of a project. Everything from inception, construction, correct specifications of equipment, handing over onto operations and maintenance phase, and really ensuring that all of those different aspects of the development of the project is properly done, and everything ties together. It's the EPC, or the original installer, is being given a very clear specification from the developer. These are the key things which the component selections. How does everything going to work together? The material selections. Now, I've seen so many plants which I've been asked to come in and have a look at, where the mix of materials has been incorrectly done, and you've got a mix of incompatible materials which is causing galvanic corrosion. And your entire PV plant, as much as your panels have a great 25, 30-year warranty, but the entire substructure is falling apart underneath the panels. Or the cables which have been specified for the system are not correctly spec'd and installed. And it's little things occasionally which can really have a massive impact on the returns which an investor or a developer sees on these assets. Where cables are bent too tightly, for example, or have very sharp corners against trunking. All of these things cause accelerated degradation of the system as a whole, which can really impact the bottom line of investors and developers significantly. So we see that literally looking at the system as a whole life cycle, everything from, as we refer to it, cradle to grave, is really critical. And all of those aspects need to be very carefully looked at. And then more specifically on operations and maintenance side, what we find in general across the market is that people underestimate. That's the beauty of solar PV, is it's a relatively low maintenance requiring asset, eventually what you're developing, if it's done right. But people, because everyone says, well, you install it on your roof, you don't really have to worry about, there's not that much O&M, etc. required for it. People underestimate the ongoing preventative maintenance, corrective maintenance, vegetation maintenance, as mentioned by Bernstein. It's all of those aspects come together to ensure that the cost of the O&M and operations of the system over the longevity of its 25-year asset or 30-year asset is maintained in its best possible condition.
Thank you, Garth. You bring up a really important point around the design and also the fact of the data coordination across from, as you say, from cradle to grave. So while we're still looking at data, how can we utilize data to be able to optimize the management of rooftop solar? Are there metrics that can be integrated right from the beginning and then create like alert systems, or create reminders, or create clauses in contracts for the people that are going to do this? What's the impact that data can have on operations and maintenance?
100%. I think that is significant, especially looking at the longevity of these systems, and and I think it's true for any country in the world, is proper management, proper maintenance, and monitoring thereof is really key in terms of ensuring that an asset continues to be achieving its targets. And that's what PV is ultimately. It's an income generating asset. It doesn't matter who develops it, it's saving someone money somewhere, ultimately speaking. So that combination of data collection and from the get-go planning to collect that data. So there's lots of different types of monitoring systems available on the market. We utilize a CRM type system to monitor all of our assets deployed, and it's really from the get-go planning your components, your inverters, etc. What sort of diagnostics do you actually get from the devices, being sure that you can monitor the strings individually. You can put in early warning alarms and remotes. The moment that there is any form of deviation from expected, it starts triggering alarms accordingly. So, like what we do is we look at, balancing off, your cost of, doing a corrective maintenance or a preventive maintenance intervention versus, the impact which it has on the production of the system, the yield, etc. And in our CRM systems, we start bringing all of that information together, that early warning system that we says, listen, we're starting to see a deviation on this portion of this facility. There is a potential impact over time that's going to, start creating a greater and greater loss of revenue. And from there, we can plan strategically when the right time is, to dispatch either preventative maintenance or even corrective maintenance based on the impact which it has ultimately on the overall production of the facility.
Garth, for that. And you bring us into now the discussion around what will this cost and what are the strategies for reducing the cost. So Sammy, maybe would you like to give us your insight around what strategies can be implemented to reduce the operation and controlling maintenance costs? Because as you said, this is a long-term investment. This is an asset for 25 years. How do you ensure that we are able to derive that utility at an optimum cost?
So thank you so much, Andrew. Yes, my name is Sami. I'm a BDM for Day2 Solar. So yes, I do agree with both Gab and my colleague from JA Solar that I think if you look at it from a broader perspective, I think the issue of a plant maintenance in terms of asset management begins from the workmanship all the way from how the procurement process was done, again to the installation component. So factoring these two factors, it is very important that during or at the installation stage that we're able to factor in how we're able to capture this data in case the plant fails. So one key aspect that we really need to look at is the IoT, what I would call the industrial IoT, in terms of pushing failure analysis data, so that this data can then be analyzed just to identify what are the key challenges, what are the key failure points in a plant system. So one key component on how we're able to reduce failure maintenance in solar plants is facilitating these plants with the communication or relying failure alarms at a strategic or centralized point, so that one, we're able to reduce on the time that that plant will not be operating due to failure. So it is very important that in each and every plant that the asset has what you call the asset management software, so that we're able to control and probably plan accordingly in terms of managing that asset. When is the correct time to do corrective maintenance? Again, when is the correct time to do the preventive maintenance? And when is the right time again to do the reactive maintenance? So if you sum up all these factors, then it means that if we're able to control especially on the preventive maintenance component, it means that one, you're able to increase the uptime of the whole solar plant. Then again, you're able to make sure that within the life cycle cost of that asset, then you're able to generate, or you're able to generate the required yield that would actually lead, or would say that it was a healthy project for the number of years that the plant was supposed to operate. So it is very important that we're able to analyze the data that, or the feedback that we're getting from this plant through what I would really look at as more of an asset management software.
Yes, thank you for that. And maybe I'd also want to ask Kolawole, what are your views as well on this? How can this be implemented with the aim of getting to the best, or to the design at least, levelized cost of energy over the lifetime?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Actually, in this kind of situations, you have to start at the beginning of the project. You have to build in your plan for asset management, your plan for O&M from the beginning. So your design, the components you decide to use will determine a lot of what happens afterwards. So for example, when you are working on a rooftop project, and there are multiple sources of energy, and then maybe the client also has more than one output, how many of those would you be measuring? How many current transformers would you be installing? That builds into your plan. Where would you put your weather station? How many weather stations would you have to ensure you have a good basis for your comparison after you have installed? Because the data you gather on site is only as good as the equipment you put in place to gather the data. Because then if you are not gathering the right data, or gathering data in the right quantity, or using the right equipment to gather the data, then you are not able to make good decisions downstream within the project. So for what we do, for example, at Westar Solar, is we take a very holistic view from the beginning, and we try to plan for the O&M even in our equipment selection. Then secondly, when it comes to monitoring the plant, there are decisions that have to be taken at the beginning in terms of portfolio management vis-a-vis individual project management. So there are some train of thought, some people that would prefer to just focus on one project, try to find the cheapest or the most effective solution they can find for that project. And what we do is to have a more of a portfolio mindset and think in terms of how does this new project tie into our overall portfolio? How do we monitor and manage this project as a part of the portfolio? How do we manage the O&M to ensure that the equipment we use, the things we use, they are kind of uniform across board, such that you are able to reduce your cost of carrying spare parts, and at the same time you make it easier to train engineers and technical people that will be viewing these assets and will be managing these assets. Because when you have uniformity across your portfolio, it's easier. Of course, it's hard to talk about uniformity when the solar industry is the way it is, when there are so many products. But as much as we can, we try to maintain that uniformity, try to ensure that there is a standard for design, there's a standard for equipment, the standard for installation is the same. And then you can now start looking at, okay, the software you are using to manage these installations. Then, when the data being collected is right, when the equipment is as designed, is as planned for, then we start looking at the kind of data we get. How clean is that data? How do we report on that data? What is the frequency at which all the data points are coming in? And then your daily reports, your weekly reports, your monthly reports. How do you analyze the data that comes in those reports? And what are the actions you put in place? What are your timelines for responding to situations? What are the manpower requirements that you have determined to be able to respond to situations at specific times? So it's very easy and very sweet to look at dashboards, but then what is the outcome of your looking at that dashboard? What does the dashboard tell you about your plant, and what decisions have you taken about that plant? The dashboard reporting the data might be giving you a kind of report. It is not urgent, but it is important. It's not something you have to do immediately, but do you tie it into your next physical visit to the site when you do the cleaning of the solar panels? Is that when you do that particular maintenance point to ensure that your next report looks better? So, like I said, it's all holistic, planning from the beginning, integrating it into your portfolio, ensuring that your physical manpower needs tie into your back end software infrastructure, and making it all work together for you such that you can continually roll out rooftop installations easily and your standard remains the same.
Thank you so much for that insight. I think that does shed some good light on what it really entails. And then this brings into question the issue or the matter of data itself, both the question of the acquisition of that data in terms of the softwares that are required and the enterprise resource planning systems to be able to manage rooftop solar systems. So maybe the question here is, are there new management tools that are available that can be able to help with reducing that cost? And at the same time also, do we need to rethink, particularly in terms of how rooftop solar projects are being developed, that the current systems, the procurement systems that we use, whereby people do not necessarily look at all these details in terms of how they will work together with each other, the longevity, the durability, the management. Is there a figure or an estimate of what really the return on investment in data monitoring as a component of operations and maintenance? And are there systems that are bringing this down to make it more available, more accessible? Maybe I can take that question back to Garth. Would you like to start us on that?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mondi. So I think that is obviously a relatively loaded question, and I think there's a lot of different aspects to that question. So there are numerous different types of systems, and I think there are a lot of new systems being developed. Being able to look at, number one, a single asset or a single system, and then secondly, going into the more specifics of being able to monitor and properly assess a portfolio of projects, which becomes far more and more evident as the evolution of solar PV goes across Africa. So I think to that extent, one example of which is Sol Square and Meteor Control, which have a very nice monitoring platform which we've utilized for quite a few years now, to collect and collate data. I think the difficulty is trying to wrap up the value or the loss of revenue due to lack of these things is incredibly difficult, because most consumers just don't know. And the potential loss of revenue because you don't know what's going wrong on your system is it just continues propagating and becoming a bigger and bigger problem. I think part of it is also what I've seen largely is, especially in Africa these days, across Southern Africa, East Africa, and all the markets which I've been involved in, there's such a focus on the EPC cost, and trying to minimize that and whittle it down to the bare minimum, literally at the cost of the longevity and the long-term impact as a system. So rather cut out a monitoring system or get a cheaper monitoring system, and to be able to quantify the amount of revenue which clients lose because of that is almost impossible, because you don't know when things are going to go wrong, and when proper speccing of components would have played a better role in ensuring the longevity and preventing the further requirements of corrective maintenance. Doing your regular preventative maintenance inspections, going through the site and flagging potential issues and addressing them immediately. Those elements just propagate and become bigger and bigger issues if they don't get addressed. Now, I've been on how many sites where someone hasn't done something as simple as clean the fan filters going into the inverters. So those inverters land up running, hot. They're ongoingly derating themselves, which is losing power for the end client and the facility, and it's never been flagged as an issue to clean. And all of those incremental losses, between every single aspect of the system, unfortunately, I've not found a nice way of presenting, and I would love to hear if one of my other esteemed colleagues here have found a way of equating that. Because if I could explain that to clients, it would make the discussions around speccing and designing a plant properly from the get-go significantly easier. But unfortunately, the mentality largely these days is lowest upfront price or upfront cost, and we deal with the O&M later, which unfortunately means the levelized cost of energy, which all of these clients face eventually, is significantly higher. And where clients often land up having to redo sites and strip down the entire system and rebuild it, because they've opted for the lowest cost type solution which has been offered to them, rather than a system which has properly been engineered and designed for that site for the 20-year horizon. And that's really one of the main challenges which I think the industry as a whole faces.
Thank you so much for that. Maybe extending the same question to Bryson. When it comes to the actual design of these panels and systems, do you take into account the impact that, say, the designs can have on the difficulty, like what Garth just mentioned, simple things like the cooling systems of the inverters? Or I know that you're probably not dealing with the inverters, but even with the panels themselves, do you factor those in from a point of view of having your panels to be available and generating as much power as possible? And the reason behind this question is, as we are having this discussion, we are seeing that energy or solar energy, it's becoming more very data driven. And in the past, it has resisted, the sector has kind of resisted technology, or maybe it was expensive or inaccessible. But is this a factor that goes into the design and even the messaging in terms of your product? For example, if you say that your product has a 25-year warranty, do you support that, like with a monitoring, with a maintenance system or program? And maybe this can also go to Sami as well.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. Yes, we keep them in our consideration. We keep those facts in consideration because that we normally making sure that we reduce the customer complaints. When the customer complain about your brand, it means you need to making sure that what you are producing actually and what you bring them in the marketing, it will reduce the customer complaint. It should be more efficiency. It should also ensure that it should making sure that it should reduce the losses. So for me, I think it is we put them in a consideration for the favor of the customer.
Yeah, thank you for that. Sami, what are your views? How do you ensure that the products that are being brought in can maximize? If you use the equivalent of a utility, there is a grid code that typically will say that, for example, in Kenya, it is 8% is allowed, but of course we know that we have longer downtimes because of that. Is there systematic programs or interventions from the design that we can be able to implement so that we can maximize the output? Because the benefit is this is the cheapest source of electricity.
Yes, thank you, Andrew. I think first to look at it again holistically is that for any plant to operate efficiently and effectively, then it is important that we're able to have all the parameters right from the word go. And the challenge that has been in the market is that there is always a gap between the OEM, who is the manufacturer, and the EPCs on the other hand, and the designers on the other hand. So that the gap that is always there is, number one, to understand what is the best technology that should be is best suited for this market. So like if you take the measuring instruments that would always take data from a plant perspective, you get to see that there's always an issue of interoperability, so that probably if an OEM is probably producing some inverters, for instance, and there's a third party probably measuring meter, so you get to see that there is a gap in terms of these two parameters or these two gadgets coordinating together. So I think it is very important, one, from a manufacturer point of view, to always work more on to do with the research and development, and to work closely with the designers, and probably to transfer that knowledge, so that from the design point of view, the designers are able to understand what product is compatible with the relevant product in the market. So that is very important from our end, and that is why from our end we are really investing in research and development, coordinating with different suppliers in the market, just to make sure that whatever product we're able to supply to the market is compatible with either the third-party measuring instruments or the third-party equipment. So that is key. And the other thing that we really need still, I feel there's a gap, other than also looking at cost, is making sure that we're able to transfer this knowledge and probably build capacity to the designers, so that at any one time, at very early stages, when they're coming up with the designs of these facilities, they're able to factor some of these products. So I think that is how we view at it, and that is why from our end we are really investing in research and development, just to make sure that each and every product is compatible, to make sure that at the end of the project, at the end of the life cycle cost of the project, the IRR for the client is quite significant and effective. Thank you
so much for that feedback. I think you touch on something that is now a very crucial component in terms of how we see the future of rooftop solar, and specifically looking at it from an African perspective. That yes, we do know and appreciate that the unit cost of solar panels has come down significantly, to the point that the levelized cost of electricity is cheaper than any other option. However, there's still the barrier of the upfront cost. However, what you're describing then seems to support the idea that this can now be packaged as a service, that instead of using outdated procurement systems that are just looking at how to minimize what Garth mentioned, that people are looking at how to cut down on that initial cost as much as possible, but then you create huge problems later on that become even more expensive to rebuild or to get back the system online, or you lose the utility of the investment of the asset. So are we at a time when we can now already start to design energy as a service, so that to the end consumer, they just get what electricity they require, optimized at the best design from the beginning, to reduce on the operating and maintenance cost and maximize on the IRR, as you said? So should we also be rethinking this model? I particularly bring this from a point of view of the penetration in Africa of rooftop solar. It's good we're having this conversation, but we are still at a very nascent stage in terms of how many people are getting it. In Kenya, for a long time, many people who are off-grid started off with rooftop panels for domestic use, but when they get connected to the grid, a lot of people got rid of those systems. But now we're seeing that there is opportunity for rooftop solar. So should we be rethinking this model? What is your experience, Kolawole? How is the market dynamics evolving with this regard?
Of course, when it comes to the markets we focus on, the commercial and industrial segment in Nigeria and West Africa, the client wants to focus on what they are good at. And our clients are very good at producing things. They are plastic product producers, they produce drinks, textile producers, tanneries, they just want to focus on that. The kind of interaction they want to have with energy is just to be connected to it and to pay a bill monthly or yearly. And that bill that they pay monthly or yearly, the client wants to be able to predict that bill. They want to be able to project for the year and say, based on the way we produce, our energy bill should be so and so this year, give or take some percentages. But the reality of things, especially in Nigeria, for our clients, is that they are having to manage multiple sources. They are having to become very very vast in the concept and the theory of energy. You need to first understand the grid part of things. Then they pay the grid for the power supply they get from the grid at a particular tariff. Then they have to deal with their diesel generator backup, which they have to then decide what size of generator am I buying? How many generators will I carry? At what percentage usage should the generators be? Should I synchronize them? When do I maintain them? They start to deal with so many things and start to create positions within the organization just to manage that part of things. Now, when we come in and we integrate the PV diesel hybrid solution for them, it solves one problem, but it doesn't solve all their problems. It does solve the problem of having a constant source of having a reduced energy bill. Two things: it reduces the energy bill, and two, it reduces the cost of their generator maintenance and generator usage. So the PV solution we provide commercial and industrial clients now solves that particular problem. But I have had many customers look at me and say, thank you very much for solving this problem. But my problem would be, I don't want to deal with energy anymore. I just want energy as a service. I want to pay for it and walk away. And that is where we are heading to. As an organization, we are making plans and we are preparing ourselves for how we can solve that problem for customers. Because at the end of the day, business is created to solve problems. We are here to solve the customers' problems, not to sell them what we want to sell them. Our PV diesel hybrid solution is a solution to a problem, and they are buying it based on that solution. They buy it because they come in and they don't have to pay a huge upfront cost, and then they start to save and they see their savings immediately. So it's a good startup for them to come into rooftop solar, to come into renewable energy, and to understand how renewable energy can be a cost saver for them, and that can hit their bottom line, and they can immediately start to see it in their profit and loss statements. However, the bigger problem they have is the headache, the fact that they have suddenly become power generators along with whatever it is they are doing. They have to deal with power generation, transmission. You see clients talking about, oh, I'm going to bring in high tension here, then I'm going to drop it with a transformer, take low tension to that factory. They don't need that headache. What they want is just to produce, you supply me the energy. So that is what companies like ours, and I'm sure that companies are working on, being able to provide this kind of holistic solutions to say, okay, you know what, this is the proposal. You just face what you know how to do best. We provide you the energy. These are the terms that would guard this agreement. And then you just go ahead and pay on a monthly basis. We can find a way to make sure that the bills are predictable for you. And then we take it from there. So yes, that is where the market is moving to, especially in Nigeria. And I expect it's going to move like that in many other parts of Africa. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kolawole. I think you've really hit the nail on the head in terms of the future and the direction that the market is going. And it also brings into focus the discussion of centralized versus decentralized systems, because vastly we have relied on management of energy, or specifically electricity, from a central utility that takes care of all of these headaches. But when you install the rooftop solar, then you're creating a distributed network that, by definition, as we have had in this discussion, is not going to just happen in and of itself. It does require attention, it does require focus. So are we looking at a future of energy in Africa where the predominant opportunity then becomes the distributed systems because of the ease of deployment and the opportunity, particularly when it comes to cost savings during the day? And should we already start to look at energy differently? Look at it from the management perspective, look at it from the human resource that is required. Typically, you will find that once the design has been done, then the technical people or the engineers, to be specific, step back, and it is now left to the nuts and bolts, the spanners for occasional maintenance. But it looks like more and more we will need both. We will need people who can understand, like what Kolawale was describing, the need or the economics of both connectivity of multiple sources and the management thereof, to be able to prioritize that. Yes, you can have some automated systems that do it, but on the other hand, you also need to have feet on the ground. So should we be retraining both the technicians who do the installation and tooling them to also become effectively, let me call them micromanagers? And by having a large pool of such expertise, then the growth can happen, because I think the growth is still at a very, very small percentage. And in my own opinion, I think in Africa, rooftop solar should be the primary source of energy. So, what would be the skills requirements, the training that would be needed to um, to achieve this? Sami, maybe you can give us your thoughts on that from your perspective, in terms of both the technical skills and also the ratios in terms of quantity. How many engineers do we need per 10 kilowatt system or 50, 100 kilowatt system? Uh, Sorry, can't hear you, Sam. You're muted.
Sorry. So I was saying, again, what is very important in this case is, number one, to consider what kind of installations are we looking at in terms of the scope of the project. And as you mentioned, are we looking at projects between probably 10 kilowatt, 15 kilowatt, all the way to a mega? Because these projects, in terms of sizing, will require different qualifications. Say, for example, as a project like a 10 kilowatt, probably you may require a technician, probably at a craft level, who is able to do probably the wiring and everything. So it will depend. There are key determinant factors. Number one is the scope of the project. Number two is the level of equipment that they'll actually be handling, because probably some equipments are supplied by manufacturers because of the warranty component of the equipment. Then they always specify that they need to be handled by a qualified, probably engineer, who is actually a graduate in terms of the BSc level. So it is important to consider, number one, what parameters in terms of what equipment are they handling at. Then I'd also look at it in terms of the scope of the project. So with that, then we're able to say that this project will require probably two technicians. These are the project will require two technicians and probably a senior engineer. Then this project will actually require a senior technician and also a consultant. And again, it is very important from the experience I've had previously. It is important that other than having the main engineers being involved in a project, it is always important that you also probably seek the consultation of a third party who is actually independent, who will actually able to see that whatever has been procured or whatever is supposed to be implemented is as per the requirements of the design. So I think that's my view on that. What to you, Andrew?
Yes, thank you so much for that. I think that helps to look at how we can already, because I think we are at that stage, we are at a very interesting phase where we have gathered sufficient knowledge, experience about what doesn't work, and we know what works. So we can already start to design the solutions from a point of knowledge. And then we look at how to address the gaps that emerge. And I think what you have mentioned is very important when it comes to the design, so that even before we start looking at doing installation or even sales and marketing, we already need to know that there's a pool of people that can be able to fulfill these roles. In Kenya, the renewable energy market, or to be more specific, the solar market, is reminiscent of the early days of petroleum, Pennsylvania in the 1860s, where you had literally hundreds of people prospecting for oil and drilling and refining at that time to produce kerosene for lighting. And it was only until Standard Oil came in and started to bring efficiency into the process that it ended up amalgamating and creating these monoliths that we now have as the major oil companies. So with that perspective, if we're talking about Kenya today, we have 1,000 registered solar companies, which means that these 1,000 companies are sourcing from however many sources or however few sources that there are. So to the consumer, you can imagine the headache of making a decision on technical products that they have little knowledge about. Do you think that by implementing strategies or implementing rooftop solutions that standardize some of these solutions, simplify the processes, and makes the operation and maintenance component to be predictable and reliable as being one of the tools that perhaps can help to unlock this market potential? What do you think about that, Brayson?
Yes, and I agree with you. One of the challenge, especially in the solar industry, it is after sale service. So if we have total solutions after we install the system, we have someone that is taking care of the system. That will be the great solution, and most of the customer will be aware of the solar itself, and then it will be easier to cover, and the solar industry will be to the top of people mind awareness, because we have the right people on the ground, there is the right solution, and once they get in some problem, there is some people that is on the ground to do after sale service. So I agree with you that it is important to have the after selling service so that we can develop the brand and the awareness and the trust to our customer in all the areas that we're operating in. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that insight. So I think we are coming close to the end of time. Maybe I can just give 1 minute or 2 minutes, however much time you want, just to give your closing remarks. And I can start with Garth. Maybe what's your parting shot in this discussion on O&M for rooftop solar?
Thank you very much, Mr. Martin. So I think my parting thoughts really, and I think a lot of good things have been mentioned and noted, from all the speakers is, ultimately, back to, I think we mentioned it earlier, was looking at the full life cycle of any project. I firmly believe that, for Africa in general, that distributed generation and different sources of generation is incredibly important to bring down levelized cost of energy and ensure that ultimately energy remains affordable to the people. So that's number one. Number key, and number two is really that when people are developing these sort of assets and projects, whether it be residential, commercial, industrial, utility scale, wherever it may be sitting, is that all aspects of the project and the full life cycle of the project needs to be very carefully considered. From that cradle to grave, and that the people which are developing the project right now are thinking about the people in 20 years' time, which are going to need to be able to service that solar PV system on the roof. I see a lot of solar PV plants or rooftop solar PV plants where the modules are packed wall to wall and there's no space whatsoever. The poor gentleman or lady which needs to do any maintenance on that system has a nightmare of a job. because they're forced to walk on panels, or they're forced, to try and do tricks of the trades to actually be able to get and properly service the systems, which unfortunately, does not bode well for the longevity of the system, and also makes it incredibly more intensive to try and do proper and effective maintenance. So I think those aspects are really, for me, the key takeaways.
Thank you so much. Kolawole, what is your takeaway, and what can we expect to see from the West African market, which I think has really picked up in the last few years?
Thank you very much. Well, we think the market has picked up, but we haven't seen the peak of the market. The market is just taking off. We are going to see a lot of project rollouts over the next 5 to 10 years. There's going to be massive growth in the rooftop solar industry in West Africa over the next 5 to 10 years. Awareness has grown. Projects are being seen to be profitable. So I expect a lot of that to happen. When it comes to the O&M, we are only going to be getting better as companies, as people, in managing the operations and maintenance of these rooftop solar installations, because then when they are properly managed, the margin for error is low, because when you do not maintain your installation well, you lose money, and it's a money game. You have different things that you have determined that you have to hit in terms of targets, in terms of revenue targets, in terms of profitability targets for projects. So O&M is vitally important. It's a lifetime kind of arrangement for you to be able to get the best from the solar panels you have installed over 10, 15, 20 years. O&M is vital. And that's one of the things I think we've been able to emphasize in this conference, on this Congress, is the importance of thinking through the whole lifetime of a project and ensuring that you can get value all through. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Sami, what is your parting shot? What do you want to say to Sub-Saharan Africa? What is Jinko Solar committing to?
So yes, thank you. I think as a parting shot, what is most important to mention from an OEM perspective, it's very important that some of the things that will ensure that we have an uptake of solar, especially in the CNI sector. Number one is to probably seek guidance, or probably see ways to be able to come up with policies that, number one, would be able to control the quality of products that get into the African market. Because by the end of the day, if we don't get the quality, we don't have quality products getting into this market, it means that the end user, who is the client, will be the loser. So it is very important that we're able to check on policies that would provide guidelines on what is best for this market in terms of acquiring quality products. Then it is also important that as an OEM that we'll keep investing in R&D, just to make sure that we're able to offer the best technology in the market, considering the feedback that we're also getting from the market, either from the EPCs and the IPPs that we work with, so that we're able to make sure that by the end of the day, the client is able to achieve the correct IRR. And I think green is the way to go for the sub-Saharan market, because of, number one, unreliability of the national grid, especially that is affecting most parts of the sub-Saharan market.
Thank you so much for that, Sami, and we are looking forward to, as Kerea, we are committed to those standards and to creating the enabling environment for growth. So last and certainly not least, Brayson, what message would you have for the future for East Africa? We've seen growth in East Africa. Do we still have more room? Can we expect more in rooftop solar? What are yeah.
Yes, yes. I think the government should put a lot of effort, not only putting effort in one direction. As you know, that the government in East Africa, especially my country, they're putting a lot of conventional energy source like hydropower. So I think the government now is the time now to invest a lot in solar projects, so that solar project should be one of the great energy source in East Africa.
Thank you so much, Brayson. I think this has been a very, very, at least for me, enlightening conversation. I think we have brought to the fore the importance. And my perspective on energy is that energy is all about OPEX. And there's been this misguided belief that once you buy your solar panels, that is it. There's still work to be done after that, and it is not a barrier but an opportunity. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Unfortunately, we did not have a lady on this panel. Maybe that is something to look at for the future, Anand. But thank you so much for this great discussion, and I hand over back to you, Anand.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, all our esteemed panelists, for this wonderful session, and a very special thanks to Andrew, sir, for superbly managing the session. So, with this, we have come to the end of conference, but the show is not over yet. We still have our awards ceremony. So, stay tuned. We'll be back shortly with Africa Rooftop Solar Congress Awards. Thank you.
Gita, and a very, very warm welcome to our Gala Award ceremony of Africa Rooftop Solar Congress Awards 2022. Well, the red carpet is rolled and the stage is all set to unveil the very deserving winners of these awards. We all know that Africa is often considered and referred to as sun continent, and bringing in this solar energy to the country, our winners have made a very great contribution. These awards are a recognition and a reason to celebrate the hard work and achievements of Africa's solar leaders and their teams. So, dear audience, since you all cannot come on the screen and clap for them, you can definitely go ahead and pour your congratulatory notes in the chat box. And we have some beautiful emojis too. So, kindly get that rolling. Thank you so much. And amidst this positive note by all of you, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome our guest of honor, a visionary, a clean energy specialist, and a legend who has contributed highly to the development of renewable energy in Africa. Kindly welcome Dr. Segun Adachu, President, Renewable Energy Association of Nigeria. Could we have Mr. Sagan on screen, please?
Thank you, Gita.
Thank you so much, heartiest welcomes, and thank you so much for coming to our ceremony and gracing this.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone from Nigeria. Please permit me to pull up my mask. I'm in a public space. I'm at the airport trying to get a flight, so kindly understand with me. Firstly, I would like to say congratulations to Solar Quarter for the African Rooftop Solar Congress 2022. Right from yesterday to today, all the speakers, all the panelists, it's been an exciting time. So I want to say congratulations for pulling this. It's well done. I also want to say in advance to all the nominees and the winners of the Africa Rooftop Solar Congress 2022 awards. I say, well done. Big ups to you. You guys are doing a great job to ensure over 600 million Africans who do not have access to energy are powered. Thank you so much for the great job you're doing. I have the honor and privilege to be the special guest at this event and also to give a brief opening remarks. So Africa is the new frontier. And this is the market where all eyes are focused on. Of course, a continent that has close to and over 600 million people not electrified, half of the population not connected to the grid and they don't have access. It is a market to really seriously look at. And I want to thank every one of you for the great work you have done. I mean, looking at the list of all the speakers, including yesterday and today, we know that we have great people who are doing great job in this continent. So the market in Africa for solar is now. It's taking off. There's so many business models that have been deployed. They are great and awesome companies doing great things in the solar space, both on grid and off grid. And it is the market to be, and actually the market to beat if there's any other competition. I also want to mention, permit me, Solar Quarter, to the connection between Africa, particularly Nigeria, and the country of India. I've had the privilege of being to India 5 times, and I say, what is going on and happening there? Why can't we replicate that in Africa? So I see a very strong correlation and partnership between these two markets. So we look forward to an exciting time this evening to hear about the great winners and the nominees, what they have done in Africa and what they will be doing. But I know that this is the market of now. This is the market of today in terms of solar power globally. We have good resource in terms of human capital and energy, solar irradiation. So well done, everyone. Congratulations to Solar Quarter. More congratulations to the nominees and the awardees. And I say we're excited to be here this evening, particularly myself. And I look forward to, electronically shaking hands with all the winners. So thank you so much. I look forward to an exciting evening, and thank you for the honor of being a special guest. Over to you, Gita.
Thank you so much, sir, for your very, very, very insightful remarks. I'm sure it will be a great, good takeaway for our audience today. Thank you so much for gracing our ceremony and encouraging our winners. It was a pleasure having you, sir. Thank you so much for your time. Okay, dear audience, the countdown has begun now. And let us start the ceremony with our first award. Can we have the slide, please? All right, and the first category is for Industry Leadership Awards. It is EPC Company of the Year. Let me tell you something about our winner of this category. The company has continued to redefine the African solar market as an industry leader in supplying and financing clean energy, storage, and power quality systems. The company has 11 megawatt of solar PV across 36 systems. It offers competitive financing options in the form of power purchase agreements, power lease agreements, installment sales. The company has commissioned and provided services across various industries, including universities, retail, manufacturing, flower farms, tea farms, beverages, net processing, and agricultural processing in 2021. Wow, quite a few work out there by our company. So let us see who the award goes to. And the winner is... And the winner is Arya Finenergy. Now, may I request Tori Berry, co-founder and Chief Technical Officer, to kindly say a few words.
Oh, wow. I hope you heard my team clapping in the background.
I did. Fantastic. That was a good way.
You guys can clap again if you want.
Yeah, we'd like to hear that.
Oh, this is what a huge honor. And I'm just incredibly proud to accept on behalf of our amazingly skilled and dedicated team. Obviously, we wouldn't have won this without the team, but I think we also wouldn't have won this without each and every one of them. So just a big thanks to Solar Quarter for organizing the African Rooftop Solar Congress. Also doing a lot of spreading of the news and putting us out on LinkedIn and solar in general across Africa. We heard from such a amazing wealth of speakers throughout the whole Congress. So it's been really exciting. Thanks to the sponsors as well who made it all happen, JA and Jinko. Just quickly about ARIA, we've had a really fun adventure, and as we deploy projects, we've now done 35 projects. They're all performing, they're all being monitored consistently. We're really happy about that. Our largest is 2 megawatts. That's in Kampala, which is even outside of we're based in Nairobi, Kenya. We've doing projects across East Africa now. A little bit on the innovation, Gita mentioned we did a power purchase agreement. So we do a financing ourselves. We've done a battery storage, power stabilization, where we're taking an entire tea factory and giving them seamless power. We've done a solar thermal collector solution. So we're also not doing solar electricity, we're also doing solar for heat. I don't know if you can see in one of our background, the top one up here, we've also done a floating solar project. So in addition to rooftop and ground mounts, that was for a farm that really wanted to use their agricultural space for farming and had this extra reservoir. So we said, hey, we've heard of floating solar, let's do a floating solar project. Just a couple of facts about our company that we're proud of as well. Our directors are 2/3 female. Our engineering team, which is also, less dominated, but more of a male-dominated industry. But for us, we're one short of 50-50 for female-male ratio. Another thing, out of the 23 staff, only 2 of us were not born in Africa. And in addition to diversity of faces and gender, which is something we're really proud of and is a paramount goal, we also have a diversity in thoughts and approach. Some of our team is the action-oriented people that go out and do and get things done. Some of us are the well thought out, careful planners. This is all things that it takes to make a really strong and skilled team. So I mentioned it's an adventure, but I'm just so thrilled to work with every single person on our team. It's been really fun. A few other thank yous. We wouldn't be here without our clients. Every time a client signs up and says yes to solar, they're doing something they're not very used to. So big thanks to them for trusting us, trusting our team and what we deliver. Our installers, of course, do great work. Our contractors as well. That's a lot of problems can be fixed by doing things right in the first place. So both our engineers and installers were always careful on our builds. And then there's the industry partners. So I mentioned the 2 main sponsors, Jinko and JA, but there's some other sponsors as well that came through, which is the industry associations, UNRIA, Korea, USEA. I think there's many more across the whole continent that are doing a lot to push solar, making sure that import duties and access to getting solar into our countries and be able to help manufacturers. I also wrote down CAM, Kenya's Association of Manufacturers. I'm sure there's many in every country that are pushing for lower prices for industry. Solar, power stabilization, storage, these are critical things for the economy, the critical things for jobs, critical for CO2 reduction. So just a congratulations to everybody who's in the whole market and sector. It's a very fun, it's such a meaningful job, and congrats to everyone who's making such a meaningful impact in this world and Africa and changes that we need. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I must say, Mr. Troy, that was very, very well thought and heartfelt thank you speech. It was a great job. I think your team should clap for that. I need to hear that.
Yeah, one more clap.
Come on, we need to hear that clap. Amazing work by you and your team. Heartiest congratulations once again for that amazing work. Now, before you leave, I just wanted to ask you a simple question. So, Mr. Troy, if you had to bring one futuristic technology to Africa, what would that be? Something which is not yet invented. So something futuristic you want to bring into Africa. It could be anything, not related to renewable. It just could be anything.
This is good. I mean, I don't know about things that aren't invented, but I think we're really close to things that are invented. So I think electric mobility is going to make a huge shift for everyone. Transportation of people and goods, and to clean that up, we don't have the cleanest trucks or motorbikes in this continent. I think electric vehicles is going to be really neat. Again, power stabilization is my, the nerd inside of me is really interested in that. Any client out there that wants something along those lines, talk to someone, because it's pretty neat. The utilities have to change, and we want to push them, and decentralization of the grid is going to really help. So there's 2030. Maybe my brain isn't geared to thinking what's going to happen beyond 2030, but I think that what's happening now is super exciting, and the technology's there. Just need to keep pushing and deploying it.
Absolutely, agree with you totally on that, and wishing all the very best to your team. May you invent many, many more new futuristic technologies. All right, thank you so much, and heartiest congratulations once again to the entire team. Thank you so much. Okay, so moving to our next segment of awards, which is Business Excellence Awards, and the category is Company of the Year Module. Our winning company is a global leader in the solar industry. It distributes its solar products and sells its solutions and services to diversified international utility, commercial, and residential customer base in more than 80 countries worldwide. The company has a total module capacity of more than 40 gigawatt in 2022, out of which 10 gigawatt has been allocated to the new Tiger Neo module, and it is all set to break cell and module efficiency records in 2022. I am sure you all might have guessed by now who our winner is, so let us see who the winner is. Well, our winner is Jinko Solar, and we have with us Mr. Sami Baroti, Business Development Manager, SSA of Jinko. Very welcome, Mr. Sami. Could we have a few words from you?
Yes. Thank you so much. I want to take this opportunity to thank the entire team of
Mr. Sami, we're not able to see you. Can you please switch on the video? Yeah, much better.
Yes. Thank you so much. I want to take this opportunity to thank the entire team of the African Rooftop Solar Congress for such organizing such a forum and an opportunity to issue this award. As a Jinko family, we are humbled, and we look forward probably to do more for the whole of the sub-Saharan market. And probably just to mention is that going forward for year 2022, we are looking to make progress in terms of making sure that we're able to reduce the gap of people who do not have access to energy, especially in our new storage solutions that would play a big role, especially with the unreliability of the grid, especially in the sub-Saharan market. So as a Jinko family, we are humbled, and truly we're looking forward to work with each and every partner, and as we make sure that the sub-Saharan market, Africa, becomes green. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sami, and heartiest congratulations to Jinko Solar for the very, very great achievement. Mr. Sami, business development is quite a tasking job, sorry, it's quite a tasking job. So how do you push your limits in these COVID testing times to fulfill your clientele requirements?
I think one of the most important thing as a Jinko family, what is most important is customer first. Our customer always come first in terms of the relationship that we're able to build on our customer, and making sure that we're able to support our customers at every step, all the way from the procurement, all the way to the commissioning of their projects. So I think what is key for us is a relationship and making sure that we're able to support our customers, because if the customer wins, then it is a big win for us. Thank you.
So true, I must say. I totally agree with you on that one, and heartiest congratulations once again to the entire team.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, moving to our next category, which is Company of the Year Off-Grid Systems. All right, so it's time to know about our winning company. The company is a leading renewable energy solution provider with offices in South Africa and Kenya. It is an off-grid energy solution specialist with the capability of leveraging multiple battery and battery inverter technologies. These include Tesla, Rolls-Royce, Blue Nova, and SMA. Due to their diverse expertise, they are able to offer turnkey solutions that enable grid reliability, and with their ability to work with extremely unstable grid voltages and frequencies in most parts of East Africa, they are positioned as a leading off-grid energy solution provider. So let us see who this amazing company is. And the winner is... And the winner is New Southern Energy. May I request Mr. Jason Crawford, Regional Manager, East Africa, to kindly say a few words and accept the award.
Hi, Gita. Thanks for holding such an engaging and insightful.
Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Jason. I'm not able to see you. Can I have your video on, please?
There we go. Sorry.
Yeah, perfect.
Can you see me now?
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, Gita. And yeah, thanks to all the inspiring sort of energy leaders that are all gathered here today, to share some insights and knowledge and, and to help improve the solar community as a whole. I'd like to start by saying, that we as New Zealand Energy, or NSE, sort of are extremely humbled, right, by this opportunity. And we know that considering only a nominal percentage of Africa's population, that has access to power, that doesn't have access to power, we believe such off-grid solutions, can make a meaningful impact to improve the livelihoods of millions of people across Africa. And we think that this award, is testament to our team's resilience, dedication, and passion to provide access to clean, sustainable, and reliable energy. I think also as a firm advocate and enabler for distributed energy across Africa, NSE understands that we cannot take complete credit for such awards, and we'd really like to dedicate this award to the many inspiring industry leaders that are all sitting here today, for enabling the energy transition. And I think for us that's very important. I'd also like to say thank you to our team, our partners, our suppliers, our trusted customers, and once again, all of you thought-provoking leaders that are sitting here today, right? You're giving us the opportunity to power Africa today, for the future, and that's very special for us. In closing, I think we as NSE, we would like to send a massive shout out and thank you to all of the event hosts and organizers, particularly Sol Quarter. And I think we thank you for inspiring such an engaging and insightful conference, right? And we as NSE look forward to reconvening next year and seeing what the energy future holds, for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and heartiest congratulations, Mr. Jason, on a very, very great win. A very, very hardworking team indeed out there. So a small question, just a personal one. Where are you going to have this winning party today? So is it going to be physical or is it going to be virtual? So how are you going to celebrate this?
We're going to hit the streets of Nairobi and party it up. No, I'm kidding. We have quite a global team. We have people celebrating in South Africa as we speak. We're quite a small team, here in East Africa. And unfortunately, none of them are sitting with me right now. We're all out and about on sites. But I think there'll be definitely some big celebrations both in South Africa and here in Nairobi. Yeah.
I'm sure everybody's listening to you right now, and all your teammates must be waiting. When are we going to get that invitation? Winning party. So all the best to everybody. Please go ahead and enjoy yourself and have a great, great winning party because you all deserve it.
Fantastic. Thank you, Geeta.
Congratulations once again. Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
You too. Okay, so let us now move to our next set of awards, which are Individual Leadership Awards. A very famous quote says that the true leader has the confidence to stand alone, the courage to make tough decisions, and the compassion to listen to the needs of others. He does not set out to be a leader, but becomes one by the equality of his actions and integrity of his intent. Wow, that was a little deep, but the same way are our winners of today of this category. So our first category of Individual Leadership Awards is Entrepreneur of the Year. As I always do, let me give you a few hints about our winner. He is a renewable energy specialist with 20 plus years of experience. He dedicatedly serves the underprivileged community of Africa. His dedication has brought electricity to the most unexpected places, which have changed the life of many unprivileged people. The students are now able to study at night and people to fulfill their daily requirements. A solar pump has helped the community to have an all year round farming, which has helped them to achieve surplus harvest, which they can capitalize on. Indeed, a very, very noble work by our great leader. So, time to know who the winner is. And the winner is Mr. Patrick, the Managing Director, Sun Valley Solar Contractors. Do we have Mr. Patrick here with us?
Hi, Geeta. Mr. Patrick will not be able to join today. So I thank on his behalf and we can proceed with announcing other awards.
Right. Heartiest congratulations to Mr. Patrick and the entire team of Sun Valley Solar Contractors. I will just request everybody, all the audience members, please kindly put in your congratulatory notes. Keep pouring them because that's what keep everybody going. All our winners are really going to love this thing coming in from you. And yes, I'm liking that emojis coming in. Please keep it pouring. It looks great. Thank you. Okay, so like Pratika just said, we will move on to our next category. And the category is it's Business Leader of the Year. Few hints about our winner. He is a hard-working entrepreneur who always has a vision for the next big step within Africa's clean energy future. Under his leadership, the company has grown from 10 to over 70 employees in the last 16 months. And the business revenue as well as the project value has grown by 200% over the last financial year. Under his leadership, the company is completing Africa's largest building integrated photovoltaic solutions in Kenya. Wow. So now the time to know our winner. And the award goes And the award goes to Henri Gustav Gauss, Managing Director, ACES Africa Private Limited. Do we have Mr. Gauss with us?
Yes. Afternoon, Geeta. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much firstly for the award. I think it's an extreme honor, especially in the industry that we're in. I'd just like to thank obviously Solar Quarter for the awesome event. I think it's been really well organized, and the speakers, a lot of the speakers that took the stand during the last 2 days, I look up to a lot of these industry leaders. And really enjoy just the insight into the African landscape, the energy landscape, and the potential thereof, which is very exciting. yeah, I mean, I'm really honored. So I really thank you guys very much. And especially to our team, I wouldn't be able to do what I do on a daily basis if it wasn't for the awesome team behind me. As you mentioned, we've grown quite drastically over the last 18 months with a team of around 70. So many sleepless nights, with all the teams across the continent. But I really think that the space is exciting, and a lot of movement towards decentralization of specific power structures across Africa. And I think that our team is really driving the forefront of what is possible, especially with the building integrated side of things. I think that BIPV has for long been a thought, or transparent glass that produces energy has been a myth for many years, but ACES Africa are bringing it to Africa. And as you mentioned, we just finished the largest BIPV project in Africa at the I&M Bank in Kenya. And we're also working with some of the world's largest companies on BIPV projects within Kenya, which will be announced when the projects are complete. And I just think that from our team and from everyone here at ACES, we thank you for the opportunities. We thank you to our clients across Africa who believe in us. And, we would try and continue to enable affordable electricity to the African continent.
Well, I must say that was a beautiful speech, and really like the fact that you were dedicating it to your team. That's a mark of a true great leader who's always dedicating everything to the team. I must say, really,
100%. Thank you, Geeta. I don't think it is being in the leader role is sometimes very stressful when things aren't great, and great when things are great. But you've got to thank the team around you that that sort of put you on the pedestal to make sure that you seem like the champion, when I've got the team behind me that actually help it all make it all come true.
Absolutely. They are a pillar of strength and support for the leader. Nothing without a team can ever happen. Well deserving, correct, I must say. Mr. Gauss, if just a small question, I'm not going to leave you right now. So just a small question, little out of the context, I must say. If you could change or make one renewable policy of Africa, what would that be? As I said, out of context question.
Yeah, tough question, but I think that look, so in South Africa, for example, regulation's been slowly changing to enable access to larger projects, which are great for our current electricity situation. And likewise, I think that there should be incentive structures across Africa from governments in order to enable the ease of implementation of renewable energy. Some countries are more on the forefront of allowing energy projects to actually happen without much hurdles, but I think there's still some changes to be made. So I think legislative changes that enable ease of implementation would help a lot.
Absolutely. I hope everybody's listening to that. All the government officials of Africa are listening to it. And definitely there are changes expected to come. Thank you so much. Mr. Andre, heartiest congratulations to you on the great.
Thank you. Thanks, Geeta. Thank you very much.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the last award of the evening, and that is Emerging Business Leader of the Year. Let me give you a hint about our winner. Our leader is a highly qualified, dynamic business leader with more than 20 years of experience, a great team leader and a futuristic who always looks at the techno-economy of the project, providing the best for the company's client. He has contributed profoundly in the sector towards the development of green energy and energy conservation. A true advocate of United Nations 2030 Sustainable Goals. So let us see who the winner is. And the winner is Mr. Taiwo Emmanuel, CEO, Oaks and Pearl Engineering Partners Limited. Could we have Mr. Taiwo on the screen?
Yeah.
Sir, I'm not able to see you.
Okay, let me put on my video.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So if it's your team at the back, I would want them to clap for you and the entire company. Please tell them to clap.
Please come and clap. Come and clap. Yeah. I'm collecting our water. Please.
Congratulations. Thank you. Great work by the company and the leader. Nice. I guess you all are going to have a dance study tonight.
Can you see them?
All right, Mr. Taiwo, let me hear a few words from you.
Yeah, I'm humbled and honored to have this award, and I would like to thank the organizer of this Congress, African Rooftop Solar Congress 2022, and also Solar Quarter for this program and the Congress. It's been awesome since yesterday that we've been attending the section. Also, I'm grateful for this recognition that we are able to receive, myself and my team, this very award as the Emerging Business Leader of the Year. The goal of making this universe cleaner and greener, which is the 7th of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, has inspired myself and my team to continuously work as a professional in the area of renewable energy, because renewable energy is the future of energy. So I assure you, this will not stop. Let me say that this synergy will be enhanced. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, and heartiest congratulations to you on a very, very great job and well-deserved win. Now, Mr. Taiwo, we were talking about sustainable goal, the UN 2030 sustainable goals, and you are definitely working hard towards it. According to you, what is the biggest challenge that we are facing right now to achieve that milestone?
If I may say, let me use Nigeria as a case study. Our biggest challenge in the area of people moving from a conventional power system into renewable, it's capital, most especially from the rural area. Government needs to come in and formulate a policy for incentives so that people can buy in and move it to, because distributed generation is the future. The centralized power grid has failed us, most especially in rural communities where they lack access to the grid. We need a sort of solar or an hybrid system to power such area. So it's the future. So the biggest challenge right now is capital. So let government come in and subsidize, give a policy for incentive so that people will go greener.
I totally agree with you and your thoughts on that. Hopefully, we all will overcome that and achieve the 2030 target. Definitely, we all are working towards it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. And heartiest congratulations once again.
Thank you.
And have a great party.
Yeah. Bye.
Okay. Bye. Okay. With this, ladies and gentlemen, Not only the winners today, but all of you who have been such an integral part of this industry deserve a big round of applause. Kindly clap for yourself, ladies and gentlemen, for yourself and your industry peers and all the winners for today. So with these, ladies and gentlemen, we come to end of our award ceremony. Heartiest congratulations to all the winners. A very big thank you to our guest of honor for gracing it. And a big thank you to each and every audience member for being a part of our award ceremony. Keep tuned in to our Solar Quarter updates and our upcoming events too. Hope to see you all in our upcoming events again. Till then, stay safe and stay happy. Thank you so much.